Hello and welcome to Midweek News, episode 85 for July 17th, 2024. Let's get started. What process is listening on a port? This tutorial covers several commands to find listening ports on Linux, including netstat, lsof, and ss. These are useful commands to know if you're going to be administering a Linux system. Endless OS, a streamlined user experience based on Debian Linux, comes in two editions: full, the whole OS and tons of apps and content; basic, the base OS, with a few apps for internet connected installations. Endless offers a customized Gnome interface and is aimed at ease of use, especially for education purposes. We have a machine in the library running Endless OS, and it still amazes me that the small kids gravitate to a game which is basically a 3D version of Frogger. Fedora 41 Workstation with Gnome to be Wayland only. Wayland must have come a long way if Fedora is going Wayland only. For comparison, Ubuntu has been Wayland by default since 21.04. The real news here is that Fedora is completely removing X11, which has taken a long time. Clonezilla Live 3.1.3, now powered by Linux kernel 6.9. This release ships with part clones 0.3.31. Other changes include removing CPU frec util, which is not in the Debian repository anymore, removing thin provisioning tools due to breaking dependencies, and various bug fixes and minor features. Hoarder, a bookmark and note-taking app. Install it as a Docker container. There are plugins for Chrome and Firefox that allow you to quickly bookmark pages, add tags, or add them to a list. This may be interesting to experiment with. Auto reset user account to original state. This solution requires some systemd foo to automate the action. This may be useful for public computers. Gnome 47's new font, how to try it on Ubuntu. This article walks you through the installation of the font and using G settings to set it as the interface font for Gnome. From a screenshot in the article, I can't tell a big difference between the old Ubuntu font and the Inter font that Gnome 47 will have. Maybe you can. Filezilla Client 3.67.1 released, a couple of bug fixes, and an updated version of libFilezilla. On the surface, there shouldn't be any huge changes. The Sony ZV-E10 II camera debuts. I've used the Sony ZV-E10 for the last two and a half years to make my YouTube videos and live streams. The new version boasts enhanced autofocus, improved video features including a cinematic vlog setting, and a redesigned user interface. The location of some buttons has been moved, and the grip has been made a little more substantial. Available at the end of July for $999 for the body, or $1099 with the 16 to 50 millimeter kit lens. The lens will be sold separately for $299 starting in August 2024. LibreOffice 24.2.5 is now available with 78 bug fixes. There will be 2 additional point releases to LibreOffice 24.2, and LibreOffice 24.8 will be released next month in August. Apparently, Zed's not dead. Zed, a new editor from the creators of Atom, is now available on Linux. Zed started out life on macOS and is now available on Linux. Written in the Rust language, it is fully open source. You can install Zed for Linux by using a curl script shown in the article. You can find out more information and view docs at zed.dev. Also available for macOS. Frog, a Linux OCR tool for extracting text from anywhere. This utility is available as a Flatpak. 3 basic options are exposed: take a screenshot, open image, and paste image. While simplistic, I can see where a tool like this may be handy in certain situations. OBS Studio 30.2. New features and enhancements include enhanced RTMP, FLV, multi-track audio and video, HEVC support for WebRTC output, NVDEC decoder support for encoded direct show sources, support for prioritizing NVDEC decoder on NVIDIA systems, support for audio only and video only WIP outputs, an experimental hybrid MP4 format, closed caption support for HEVC and AV1, unified pipewired window display capture into a single screen capture source, and more. Available now on Linux, macOS, and Windows. Cosmic Desktop, very close to alpha release. There are about 20 open issues that need to be resolved before the alpha can be released. Some new changes include support for styling inactive windows differently than the rest with the inactive colors attribute. Cosmic's input settings have been completed, now supporting customizable shortcuts. Super Tab or Alt Tab have been implemented for switching windows. Cosmic display settings now allows for enabling display mirroring and various other changes. The second half of July is shaping up to be pretty interesting. Mozilla Thunderbird 128 ESR is now available. Being an ESR release, it will be supported for at least a couple of years. Changes this time around include UI density support for multi-message view, improved cards view UI, improved OpenPGP manager, OS-specific accent colors, improved layout of the LDAP address book properties dialog, among others which you can find in the release notes. Available now for Linux, macOS, and Windows. Incus 6.3 Container Virtual Machine Manager released. This project emerged as a result of Canonical's move to take more control over the LXD project. Highlights include users can now use Docker OCI images directly in the Incus environment, an early implementation of a feature that allows users to access application container registries like Docker Hub, retrieve images, and convert them for Incus compatibility, and many more features that make this even more useful. The Incus environment is also capable of running full virtual machines. While I've never used Incus outside of the interactive tutorial, it is a project I'm going to be keeping an eye on. And that will bring us to the end of Midweek News, episode 85. Thank you once again for watching. Have a great day.